Okay, welcome to Chloe Ariell Soul Sessions. Hi, Joshua Shapiro. We've got
Hello.
hello. We've got a beautiful little purple crystal skull here, and it's called Zippy One Eye. Is that right? Or Purple Love?
Right, it has two names.
Yeah. So there's an energy here as I'm connecting in with Purple Love, and it's connected to like a cluster of stars. Um, and I can see a Lyran constellation is Lyran. It would be very interesting for people to understand how energies connect into crystals and how exactly does that work. So first thing I want to ask you. I mean,
Okay.
I can understand it, but for a lot of people, they would be wondering how um, there's 13 crystal skulls all around the earth, um, from ancient times that are connected to different knowledge banks. But how do these crystal skulls that you have connect into different places? How does it work exactly?
Okay, so for me, it's a combination of different scenarios. First scenario is that when a crystal skull goes to its guardian. So I became the guardian of this skull. I believe I was at a conference and I traded some copies of my first crystal skull book, Ministry of the Crystal Skulls Revealed, with this person who had skulls. And I felt like I needed to have an amethyst skull. So it actually became the third skull that came to me. And this is before I met my wife, Katrina. And so I think what happens is the crystal skull starts to, because it's made out of quartz, it starts to record the frequencies of energies around it, which it does naturally. But then usually what I found, and this isn't for me, but it's also for other people who are guardians too, that there seems to be a living consciousness is the best way I can express it, which gets connected to the crystal skull, which has to do also with the vibrational frequency of the guardian as well.
Right.
And um, and then this living consciousness will start to activate and animate the crystal skull. And usually what happens is then, depending upon what is the purpose of the skull from a vibrational perspective, this is how its name comes to pass. So in this case, Purple Love basically came from Katrina. I believe she changed the name of the skull once we came together, which was about 15 years ago. But Zippy One Eye was the name I received initially because when I looked at the skull, one eye was open and one eye was closed. So I just called it Zippy One Eye.
That's really cute.
And right. So
It's like a pet.
so I've yeah, so sometimes the skull will have two names. One is kind of a private name and
Yeah,
the other is a public name. So Zippy One Eye is kind of the private name that came to me initially.
I can.
So this is,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I can see Katrina's energy behind you, and she has a long flowing gown, and she's holding on to Purple Love, and I do feel her energy um, as a frequency as connecting into the Lyrans. So that's what's coming through that I can see.
Right.
Yeah,
So for those who didn't come to our first interview that we did with Portal de Luz,
yeah.
Katrina is right over here. She's passed in November, but she's been helping me tremendously. And I have a feeling that she's the one who encouraged me to friend you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because it's like she's kind of sitting there and I'm looking at different people on Facebook and then I get, oh, you should friend that person. So I just do it without really thinking about it. I just like the energy of the person, or I see the person that's, like involved in something. So we're gonna have to pay attention over here. It keeps going in and out. So hopefully it won't distract people. Yeah, so that's how it works for me with the skulls. Each one has its unique frequency of energy. Each one has a different being or consciousness that works through it. And then a different name comes out. But I haven't acquired new skulls for a while. It's like I have almost 30, and when I was with Katrina, it was easier to take care of them. So now I'm just kind of like, staying pat and just waiting for all these good activities that I believe will start happening this year to start happening. And then I have my spiritual center, the Center for the Advancement of Humanity. When that happens, and I'm going to donate probably all the skulls to the center. And so then different people can start to work with them, and they can go travel and so on, because I see doing tours too with some of the skulls.
What I'm sort of getting is that from what you were saying is that it amplifies a frequency into this grounded present reality, and people will be guided and drawn to particular frequencies, probably or usually because they're lacking that in their maybe they on their soul pathway, that they need
Right.
that frequency to come in and
Mhm.
it's like an activation or to be activated within them. Yeah. And I
Right.
just keep on seeing clairvoyantly Katrina behind you with the long flowing gown, holding on to purple love. And I've got purple on today.
Right.
Connecting into the Lyrans, they've come in really strongly. So I'm going to channel.
Okay.
And it's so this to me, it feels like purple love. Or Zippy One Eye is connected into that. And there's an Egyptian kind of energy. It's about knowledge, and
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. So we'll
Right.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a beautiful Lyran being here, humanoid Lyran being, very slender. She's got so Lyran, for this particular Lyran, she looks like a lion. There's a lion
Right.
look about her, and
Right.
she's very quite slender. How she came to me yesterday, puts her hands out, and she's over a field of wheat, and she's wearing a pharaoh's headdress. You always see the pharaohs with the gold and the lapis lazuli, and
Mhm.
but she's showing me like it's cloth, that look of the pharaoh look, um
Mhm.
the headdress that she's wearing, and it's purple and gold, and there's a purpley lapis lazuli kind of bluish purpley look, and gold. Putting a hand over the wheat, we have as a feeling, and I want to say, seeded this race. We have come to planet Earth in previous times. We have left the buildings, we have left the structure, we have left the civilizations that are still permanently grounded in many parts of the planet, from, I want to say, Bolivia, and I want to say Botswana. It's like a BO sounding, and Bosnia. So that she's using all these different places. I'm getting sent to different parts of the planet,
Mhm.
up to the top of the Arctic, to parts in Asia. I'm getting sent all over the globe. There's in Australia. She's showing me pyramids all over the world. There are some that are still in the ocean. I'm getting sent all the way down to Antarctica. I'm getting sent to parts of the Americas, down the bottom of America, South America. Some of these structures have been permanently disintegrated because new civilizations have come and have wanted to take or hijack a particular knowledge, a particular entities that have come to take the knowledge and the power for themselves. We want to impart the realization that the pyramids are much older than they are given credit for all over the world, not just in Giza. There
Mhm.
is 125,000 years of knowledge that has been kept underneath the Sphinx, and the feminine matriarchal lineage of the pyramids is what we want to impart and give you as the knowledge that has been lost. It was passed down by priestesses. Really bright now. Everything's gone very bright. To bring in the light. Your consciousness is awakening on this planet on a larger collective scale. And as you are embracing your intuitive and clairvoyant gifts, many of you are opening up to downloading knowledge kept in the chambers of the Sphinx. Underneath, you say, the paw of the Sphinx, but is underneath the whole being of the Sphinx. Don't you see? It's a lion being, just like us. We are from Lyra. We are
Mhm.
lion beings. Underneath the chambers of the Sphinx are and is much metaphysical knowledge that will arise and be able to seed again your race with the information that you are a part of the collective galactic groupings. Many of you are realizing your intuitive capabilities. Many of you are realizing that your abilities to channel are becoming much stronger going forward in the future. There are many conflicts and energies that are battling on your earth currently that we are going like around and around in a merry-go-round. Again and again, the karmic cycles of war, conflict, disillusionment, and despair. But it comes around and it's a quickening. It doesn't last too long. It goes around and the light comes in to disintegrate and take this again. There are many cycles of change that will be coming to the foreground on your planet. There are many earth changes that are coming. We can see many volcanic activities and earthquakes, and the water all over the planet is moving and shifting and changing as you call Nibiru, a big planetary body that is coming from a different part of the galaxy, is making its cycle again into the. It is now on the outer part of this galaxy. It has a great magnetic pull. Remember, the cycle was 125,000 years ago that the Giza Plateau was at its highest, made into laser cut precision. See it, dear ones, you understand, and you can see that the blocks are not made in the way that you've been taught that it has been made. Understand, you can see and see the marble and all the statues that have been placed there are much too high technology for it to have been created here. Much of the knowledge on this planet has been suppressed, and even architecturally, engineering knowledge, mathematics, science, you are all in your infancy in regards to spirituality or the science of consciousness. Understand that this is going to come back, and we are so glad that and we welcome this great change, and it is coming back. And understand that this earth changes and the many disruptions upon your planet will be a temporary thing. but it will bring great despair on into many places. But there will be many people. See, this is the positives, and this is the outcome of lifting up and taking all their things and being nomadic, being prepared to be and take and move. That is all. There are volcanic activity in places that were dormant. There is places that are dormant in volcanic activity. We are telling you this in this time and place because it is pertinent to understand that when you start feeling the tremblings on the ley lines and the quakes become quite strong. I'm seeing a lot of light because she's showing me that the light is increasing on this planet. And as the light increases on the planet, we are seeing the ring of fire, the ring of fire. And there's nothing to be scared of. It is just an awareness that the continents are shifting. There are some continents that will go down, and there are some continents that will come up. There are parts of continents that will change and bring in more water, and there are some parts of the continents that will be stable and even rise above. This is going to change, and that is okay. And you can all feel it as a collective consciousness. I'm looking at Europe, and I'm seeing different parts of Europe. And I can see the collective, there is a need for the collective consciousness of Europe to continue standing up for and building communities. I feel like I want to say stand up for their rights and human rights and building community. But it will be very important going forward, quite near into the future, because it is for survival and people trading and food supplies. And she wants to term the word collectivism. There's a new term called collectivism. I haven't heard this word before. But it is very important that people start banding together and start becoming more into their unified consciousness, because great changes are coming, as we can all see. The wars and conflict increasing. And unfortunately, I can see, like, I want to say gas and electricity and things like that will be affected. So it's very important that people start banding together, less so in places as the US and Australia. But in Europe, it's really, really important going forward that a new term is created in a unified consciousness called collectivism. Collectivism. Have you ever heard that word before? Collectivism.
No, but I understand what's being said.
Yeah.
Of course. I call it co-creation, cooperation.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. Is packages of food and being able to and we're focusing on the changes that are created, but there's a lot of greed that is coming out to be seen for what it is. And this greed will be greed that you have never seen before. I've got goosebumps. It's really strong. It's a greed that is beyond the feeling of evil is the word. And we are saying this, and this is why we encourage the collectivism. This unified consciousness will be a means of survival. Because you understand there is a force of duality, of course, and it will be of such an increase and such extremes going forward that you will not see anything like it before. In the conflicts, unfortunately, that are being created by your collective consciousness, There is a technological factor here that you have not seen before either. So things in conflict are quick and fast. Quick and fast are not dragged out as long, but unfortunately, the devastation, if it is to go that way, is quite strong. And so we are encouraging people to talk to their neighbors, encourage each other to build relationship again with your families and friends, and strong bonds formed to outsurpass, we can say, the conditioning and the programming that has created such division on your planet, has pulled many families and people away from each other. We want everyone to come back and realize that you are much stronger together as a collective unified consciousness. And yes, we throw these words around, and many of your people, the humans, the collective, you throw these words around, but you do not and have not followed through on the practical matter of things. You have not rung up or written, I'm seeing an old-fashioned letter, communicated to each other to build those communities. We are encouraging that now, even if it is only 3 or 4 of you together, is start building those communities, because the more of that you create a real vibratory strength of light that can change the unified field. The unified field. It's important, Joshua. You have created one online. So too has the conduit created some online. But both of you, on some levels, and many that are listening to this, do not understand that that in itself is the light work, is powerful in itself, is to get collective minds to start working together for collective energetic outcomes, to focus collectively on a place and see the new life and the new growth. And then she's mentioning the whales we worked on, the building plankton in the oceans. You do not understand how powerful your collective energy can build new creations, new life. Because before matter, there is energy. And you understand this. But we want to understand and encourage more of the people listening to start building those collective unified groups and communities. Going forward into the future, there are collective community groups that will be sharing food. It is very important because the food will become scarce quite soon going into the future. There is, we could say, the black ooze that is unfortunately like a dark web covering the whole planet, that eventually the changes and the transition into a different way of using energy will come to a grand stop. So it is very much, people have to start bartering, growing their food. And you've heard this over the past 3 or 4 years, and we hear the encouragement to collect and put things aside. But understand that your body needs fresh and alive food. So growing the food in your backyard and then sharing it amongst a collective co-creative group is also going to be very important. I see someone with eggs, like chicken eggs, because there is also, understand, dear ones, not just a spiritual war, but a war that has been created on getting nourishment and the food, the collective food on your planet. There is, as we have given the information before in other channelings, on the bees, there has been a move towards disintegrating. We can understand and we can see the irony on the collectivism of the bees itself. See, the collective bees create a hive. So we are encouraging more of that, more people to create hives, and I want to say grow bees, but you don't grow bees. Think to have, I don't even know what is that word for the beehives. So we want beehives. This is quite because this Lyran being, she is I feel very much in the beginning stages of civilization, one particular civilization that was lost and brought back into onto course again, agriculture, right? Seeding agriculture, teaching people how to grow things and encouraging a collectivism. She wants to use that word because it's the only word that she creates, community, collectivism. It's like an activism. And that's why I'm disintegrating that word, because it's like 3 or 4 energies all in one. It's the activism in itself is being collective and the grouping together. And in the days of old, it was done in a way that on your planet, there was a lot of, and still is, that need for power and control in groups. So sharing without expecting anything back, making sure everybody has nourishment, and families and children specifically are looked after. There's going to be many, many great changes going forward. And we understand that this may seem or go on deaf ears, and some people will say, oh, I've heard it all before. But understand it's also, and we could say, a war on water going forward. The water in some places will become so scarce that people will have to migrate and move away. We are talking in some places, oh, it's really strong. I've got goosebumps all over me. Some parts in America, some parts in Africa, some parts in Australia. The water in some places will become scarce. And this is done, has been a part of a certain agenda. It's being done on purpose. And we'll focus on Australia and the Great Artesian Bore. We've got fracking, and we've got places that the water has been poisoned on purpose. And this is happening in the US, and we're highlighting it so people can understand that collecting water in rain tanks is very important going forward. In Africa as well. And I can see in some parts of Europe, not all parts of Europe, the Eastern Balkan area, they're very, very good. And we can take some lessons from the Balkans. From the Balkans part of Europe, they are very, because of the situation and the wars that have happened over a long time there, they've become very self-sufficient. So many of us can look towards Eastern Europe and see what they do. We can see more of, we could say, civilizations, or what you call your first world, will become more of a self-sufficient collectivism, getting back to nature, having cows, your own agriculture, your own connection to the land, and back to planting and back to having your own crops and food again, out of the hands of the elites. It's very important that I'm saying this now, and take heed, dear ones, and understand that the earth changes will be quite vast. Do not be scared, and understand that the weather is also going through great changes, because the electromagnetic sphere of, yes, the greater part of this galaxy is shifting and changing, but every planet on this planetary system is also going through the electromagnetic shifting and changing as a larger planetary body is coming forward. Yes. Is there any questions?
So we know about the Lyran race. We've heard about it. We know that it's had interaction and contact with humanity over many periods of years. But Um, I'm not sure if they could talk about a little bit more how they're interacting with humanity, because there's many galactic races now that are interacting with humanity, but they have to do it subtly because the collective family of the Earth is closer to accepting what we call disclosure or contact with our galactic brothers and sisters, but we're not quite there yet. So coming up, how did the Lyrians see their interaction with humanity to help us in our awakening process, which has definitely been speeding up this year?
We are coming through channelers such as this one, and we are also watching from the outer sphere. And as we are meeting people in their dream states, just as the conduit talked about yesterday, I see the Lyran being, and she's laying down on her ship, and she's energetically connecting into energetic conduits, such as myself, mediums, psychic mediums, empaths, people that are open. It's very important, and understand that there are many more empaths, intuitives on your planet now for a very good reason, because you are able to bring in that energy of the Lyran and the downloads, as you call it, and the activations into the body. And as you do that, you are changing the morphic generic field of the collective consciousness. We cannot come in, as you say, and meet person to person, because in some ways it takes the power away from you altogether doing the work, raising up from your knees to your feet. Understand, you one. Humanity itself has been driven down to the point of being so suppressed beyond the knees, with the head down on the ground over time, that we are helping by giving you the awareness that you can move your head up and take in the knowledge and take in the knowingness, and to stand up onto your feet. We can give you a hand up, but we cannot lift you up itself, because if we were to lift you up, we would be dragged down at the same time, and you would not thank us for it. Just like you would a child. When you're raising a child, is it helpful to help them to walk over that plank by holding onto their hand, or do you hold on for a little bit, like a three-wheeler bike? That's what they're showing me, like a three-wheeler bike and a child. But letting go of that hand, and that child then starts moving for themselves. We can come in and energetically influence, but we cannot do the work for you. That's what we're trying to say. You understand. Everyone understands free will. Yes. And that's the reasons, because we are here to learn the greater lessons. If we were to show you what to do, then the lessons are taken away. It's not fair. Yeah. Yeah.
So there are many star people, what we call star people or starseed, that decide from other worlds to incarnate as human. So has there been many volunteers from the Lyran race to incarnate onto the Earth as well?
Yes, and some are actively inside government and actively inside your structural systems to bring in this change, which is quite ingenious, isn't it? Because they may think that they are following a certain protocol, but after a while, the energy is activated within them to realize new forms of collectivism. And not just your government body, but your everyday people as well. And I'm getting shown a man, and he looks like he's driving a truck, and he's just an everyday guy, you know what I mean? But he has feelings and imagery of being on a different time and a different place. He knows within his heart of hearts that he's here to do something great. But when the time is right, then he will be the one who will be delivering packages and fruit and vegetables to people that are in need. And that will be such a great help for many people. Do you understand? It is not just people who are what you deem to be in the New Age or spiritual community. They are everyday people who will awaken to their greater purpose and placed in places that you would not expect. Yes.
So is there anything the Lyrans can say about I don't know how we would call it, a catalytic event that once it begins, it cannot end towards bringing our world into a time of peace and harmony, which is what I see from my future self is where we're moving toward it. And many of us are feeling something amazing, maybe something we've never experienced before or hasn't been experienced on this world for a very long time is about to take place.
It has.
Is there any? Go ahead.
It has already started. It has been going on since even before 2019, 2020, as you call it. That is the great shift. It has already started, dear ones. You can see the great changes, even in everyday people awakening to the realization that there is something greater than this place here. It has already started. We are right in it now. We are right in it. Some of you are thinking that there is great catalysms and events that are like lightning. It all comes at once. In some regards, some situations have come and have done that. I'm seeing an image of the towers in 2001 falling, but many situations will be speeding up in regards to more events that will be happening very soon into the near future. And it's not just events that look like technological interference of, without giving anything away, technology that has gone left, that has been used to hurt many people. Unfortunately, there will be situations like that, but it's also earth events and weather events that we will have to, economic events I'm hearing as well. This is why we encourage the growing of your own food and start bartering with eggs and vegetables and things like that, because it will be very important going forward into the future. And also being able to getting a hold of water in places. And also if you need to migrate and move, I'm actually getting a place, and I want to say New Mexico or Arizona and these places of deserts. And I can see, I want to say big changes. And you had the image before of the Golden Gate Bridge behind you, right? Moving. And I can see lots of earth changes and volcanoes and things like that. There's going to be lots of changes going forward. You can say that this gradual shift is speeding up. These situations will become quite evidential going forward, and situations that are stories and accounts receivable, I call that karmic sort of influences that want to, situations that create more war like situations without going into detail. Yeah. It feels like a speeding up now. It's a speeding up of situations that happen. We can all feel that. That's what you're talking about, is that it's like the calm before the storm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking in terms of a gentleman who was interviewed that worked with a special device we call looking glass, where they were able to see the future. And the comment that he made which totally resonates to me, and I'd be curious on how you respond to this, is that through Looking Glass, it will only show one potential future, that no matter what the other side does, they cannot interfere in this great awakening. And for me this year, I've been meeting a lot of what I call soul family, and when I'm around them, I feel great joy inside of me. It's almost so powerful, it's overwhelming. So I kind of figure like the 5D energies are starting to slowly appear too. And if you're in the right, let's say, consciousness or right space, being in a positive space or whatever, then it kind of just like hits you and grabs you and gives you a feeling of like where we're going in the future, where all of these challenges we have now will not exist. At least that's what my future self shows me. It's just a place of total joy and happiness and exploration, and totally accepting that we are all divine children of God, and having more in touch with that inner part of ourselves, which the so-called elite have tried to interfere to take our attention away from that, but they can't stop that connection with divine and our spiritual brothers and sisters in other dimensions that are around us.
And this is why we deem the word collectivism, because that's the joy and the resonance that you're feeling. A great part of your purpose is to bring people together, so then they can move forward into the future. But I have to say, we cannot jump the gun. We cannot jump the lessons that have to be learnt and to be revisited. We can't jump out of our collective karmic lessons, because then we can realize the lessons deeply, intrinsically, and fully embody the lessons within this collective human energy. And then we can push forward into the future, knowing full well that it is through the power of connecting with other people that we overthrow, as you say, the elite masters, or the masters that we have given our power to. We have given our power to collectively, realizing that the power is with each other and with our connections. That is one of the biggest lessons that we have to learn as a human race. Yes.
So has the Lyrans had interaction with humanity in the past where we have part of their DNA inside of us?
Yes. Many times. We could say, and we've heard this word, we've heard geneticists before. We want to say that it wasn't so much, we don't like the word geneticist because it is a feeling of being disconnected, and almost like we weren't brought together in relationships with different human beings, and that people were somehow lab rats, laboratory. We don't like that term, geneticist. We want to say that there were many relationships formed and children that came out of loving relationships. We are not so different than your genetics, and hence why the melding of the genome was done in a way that was loving and unified. And it wasn't done in a way that was treating anybody with disrespect. You have many strands of different DNA within your beings, but understand there are many humanoids throughout the galaxy and other galaxies. There are many humans just like you, some slightly modified, some statures are different, taller, wider, bigger. Many more are telepathic, but understanding that your human race will be embracing their telepathic abilities in a much more grander scale. But we just have to get past this, is it much dismay, with all the toxins and all the agenda pushes to have aluminium. It's like, I want to say, pollution. There's a lot of pollution on your planet. There's a lot of pollution that has been done on purpose to lower the consciousness,
Right.
collective consciousness. That is all going to change. And we can see great changes with the children that are being born now. We can see many of them embracing the telepathic abilities and using technology for the greater purpose of the whole, and not to be or have technology as the masters of your race. We can say artificial intelligence, but using technology to better the natural world, to bring filters into, or technological advances in the ocean to filter out all of the pollutants, radioactivity. There are some parts in the world of the soil that is highly toxic as well. And the pollutants leak into the underground reservoirs. That will need to change. That will be changed with frequency technology and harmonic frequencies. This is, you can see how the technology will be used to better your planet and to filter out the pollutants on your planet going forward, and not the technology that will be used or has been used or will be used in conflict and to better the greed and the elites and people in positions of power. That is all needing to be seen for what it is, but then it has to be shifted and changed. Yeah. They want to talk about the clouds as well. We are doing our best to actually filter the clouds. We have pretty advanced technology to do with undoing the chemicals that are placed into the clouds and to your atmosphere to manipulate the weather. So that technology is actually being used now. But it will be given into the hands of the human race. But we are looking at about 20 years' time. But we are doing our best to undo that. Okay? So yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So there was a woman I talked to who seemed to have a lot of information about different galactic races. And I'm curious to hear from the Lyrans if they're aware of this one particular race she told me about, which seems to be a, how do we say it, a combination of human and gray DNA, and it's somehow connected to the future. The grays are whether it's in a parallel Earth or a different dimension, or somehow originate from humanity through some type of evolution, but it must be in the far future. Have you seen or had contact with this kind of hybrid human gray race, which is working to help humanity, but also coming back from the future because they're missing some part of the human DNA? And there's a name for this group, and I can't remember what she called it.
I can hear the word kind of something Shantalia or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, I think it sounds something like that.
Oh my goodness, I'm actually hearing that. So she says that there's particular parallel timelines, right? But there's a sense of trickery. I want to say that there is, okay, lower galactic energies that have used their energies to steer their own agenda, a self-serving agenda, and that has come to a stop in many parts of the planet, and has been stopped in many parts of the planet. And I can feel you're talking about abductions and that sort of thing.
Well, what she was claiming is that this particular race needed to do some abduction, but was
Yeah.
doing it in a kind way because they were missing through
Um,
misuse in the future. So they came back into their past in order to
yeah.
try to reclaim some DNA or something like that.
No, I've heard that before as well, but I can say that that has come to a stop because it feels to me that I can actually hear the word trickery. That's what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
I'm just going to
Right.
be the conduit. It's going through my head and I'm just hearing that word, trickery. And I just want to ask you again, anything else you want to say about that? Many of these programs have come to a stop because there has been a falsification of information given, and it has not been for the agenda or outcome that you actually know or need.
Mhm.
There has been an imbalance of power, and unfortunately, many of these people who have been abducted in the past have suffered, and we have felt the suffering. And when you think and know of that, oh yes, there is some that are doing okay, it is not of the will and the consciousness of the person. When someone has dominion over the human or the person who has not given their permission and sovereignty, then you understand that you are breaking a universal law. And this is what we are saying. It is not okay. In some regards, on a higher level, the person has agreed to partake in this particular program, but it has not been, everything is, there are some things that are not up to the forefront. There are some things that have not been given complete transparency, I want to say. That's what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
I'm just repeating what I'm hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that probably explains why when I was listening to this person, I did not feel comfortable with the information and way that she was giving information. So
Yeah.
that's why I asked just confirmation.
Well, on the higher level, there's been a soul contract, and you understand that. But
Mhm.
in many ways, they have chosen to participate in a level of it's like a dishonesty. That's what
Yeah,
I don't want to say that, but that's what I'm hearing, and I'm not going to filter it out. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's trickery. I just want to say that. That's what
yeah.
I say. Yeah.
So the last time we talked, but I think this wasn't recorded. So this is kind of a personal question.
Yeah.
You asked me because you were hearing some child talking.
Yeah.
So I'm asking a personal question about the spirit that has made itself known to me and keeps calling me her father in the future. Like she wants to come down here as soon as possible. Of course, I don't know who the mother's going to be yet, but I'm curious if you had anything else you
Well,
wanted to
look at
share.
let's have a look at this child, because it did come into my mind later whether this child is earthbound or not, because I do that work with people. I'll have a look. Do you know what I mean?
What do
Um,
you mean by earthbound?
earthbound means a spirit that's followed you around because there's been a
Oh,
desire for you to have a child, or maybe
yes.
there was something that you didn't do, or let's have a ask. I want to have a look, and so I'm going to go in and have a look at your field, because
Yeah.
I remember hearing that child last time we were in session. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you want to put this on pause, or are you okay to do this publicly?
No, we can do it publicly because I want people to know that
Yeah.
they can have contact with the spirit, like related to Katrina's daughter. She has a son who's had two children, and I knew before they were born exactly what sex they were going to be because they were
Yeah.
talking with me,
Yeah.
and I was correct. So just like I know with this spirit that it's going to be a girl with
Yeah.
absolute certainty.
Absolutely. And you've actually answered some of the questions, I feel, because it's about, and I can hear that, children that are ready on the soul collective that have as a possibility to come in, but it is a choice. It is a
Mhm.
choice whether it comes into, I can feel you're close to Katrina's family, right? Very close to Katrina's family.
Well, to her daughter and one of her sons, yeah. They
Yeah,
treat me like I'm their stepdad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
And
feels,
her sister's on me too.
yeah, it feels like that's an opportunity. If it's not for you, it is in the family soul collective. It's a soul, and I'm getting goosebumps now. So it's a soul collective, and that's why I was hearing it before. And you have been wondering, dear one, that if this child will be born through a loving relationship with you. The choice is yours. It is something that we cannot um, give away. But if it is not born through you, it is born through the family soul collective. Is it an
Mhm.
earthbound spirit? It's not an earthbound spirit. It is a child waiting. She's very, the reason why she's coming through and she's connecting with you as well, because of your open mindedness. She's a little telepath, this one. She's a,
Mhm.
um, she has information that she's very excited to give to humanity and the collective. Um,
Mhm.
she's a writer, a creator, and there's something very different. Like I want to say there's an energy about her that's like an Aries, like a sharpshooter, like she's straight to the point. She says things
Mhm.
straight to the point. It will be coming through the family soul collective, I feel. And I'm actually seeing a young little baby child, and I'm seeing a little girl that has kind of reddy blondie hair, like really reddy, like wispy reddy hair. I don't know if anyone's got reddish sort of hair in your family.
No, I think it's going to come through the mother.
Yeah, it's like light, either blonde or kind of reddish blonde, reddy, like
There,
strawberry blonde. That's what I want to say.
my brother kind of has an orange color, so there might be a regressive gene in my personal family, not Katrina's,
Uh,
that also may come into play too.
It's in
So,
the, yeah, soul collective, I'm hearing. And she's going to
yeah.
come in, whether it's with you or with someone in your family. She's ready to come in because she's got a really strong purpose. She's got a very
Mhm.
strong purpose and she makes great changes on the planet going forward. I want to say something like even possibly someone who invents things, or like, because I'm seeing machinery, there's like machinery around her sort of thing.
Mhm.
An engineer, whether that be sort of like an engineering kind of mind. Am I getting that right? Engineering mind,
Mhm.
and but creative as well. That's architectural. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, if I'm saying yeah 3 times, that's a yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, soul collective. Yeah. So I'm glad it's
Okay.
something earthbound. It's not just a child, but she feels very determined. She's very
Yeah,
determined.
that's what I've gotten.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
determined. And
You feel that about
she,
her. Yeah.
yeah, and she keeps saying she likes me as her daddy because of all the things I'm going to be involved in through the spiritual center. She's going to have access to almost all wisdom and knowledge possible on the earth.
Yeah.
By the time she's old enough, the center should be fairly advanced. And plus, we have a Pleiadian and a Arcturian that's around me that's like guardians for this, telling me that we will have direct contact with them too and be receiving knowledge from them as well.
I can see her teaching. There's a whiteboard behind her.
Mhm.
She's the determinedness is also like a leadership quality as well. There's a
Yeah.
leadership quality. And when I say engineering and building things, this could be someone who is advanced at certain healing technologies that come in, but she has a way of doing it in a way that's like a formulaic, like it has a
Right.
structural, there's a structural kind of energy about her. Structural. This is how you do it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
So we didn't ask the Lyrans, since we have a crystal skull sitting here, what is their relationship to crystal skulls or their insights on crystal skulls? Do they have any comments to make?
Well, I'm going straight to underneath the Sphinx, back to underneath the Sphinx. The pyro electric energies that can be placed into rock has been going on since this is old science. They're saying that it's so interesting that we in some ways are in our infancy in it, but when understand that you have quartz in clocks, in wristwatch,
Right.
But it's what you don't understand is how knowledge is carried over frequency and can be placed to be put into things. This is the knowledge, this is the library, this is the information. And we can say it's like, we've said this before in the last channeling, remember the flash thing? But I want to go underneath Giza and the Sphinx is a real connection to them. And we can say that, yeah, you see it like the Orion cluster. It looks like it's the Orion cluster, but understanding that that was a particular influence at the time. But we are of Lyran. We are Lyran. And there is much knowledge that will be sort of being, I see it like wafting out underneath the Sphinx, like on a metaphysical level, and coming out and coming into the collective as well as we raise the vibration on this planet. It's they're just saying it's like the rocks that have high quartz underneath that plateau and the pyramids itself. And we want to say again, just like Bosnia, just like all the other places that we mentioned, and in Africa, there are many in Africa that haven't even been realized. There are many in Australia that haven't been realized, as in publicly shared, in Asia as well, and some even in South America. There are many that have the knowledge has been suppressed, and again, more in the ocean. But as some of these raise out, then it affects the collective zeitgeist, is the word I'm hearing. Zeitgeist.
Okay.
Wow. Yes. That's all we want to say about that.
So when they say coming out, are they talking about other crystal skulls that have been hidden that will start coming out more, or what were they referring to exactly?
Piezoelectric quartz that are placed on sacred points on the planet that will be revealed. It's, I see like explorers back in time, like in the 1800s, that was specifically sent out to collect. There are some skulls that have unfortunately been kept in a place, and I won't mention the place, and I don't know if you know this is what I'm hearing. But again, it's the suppression of knowledge. But understand, and this is why we're saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because the knowledge is still kept in the rocks, in the place, energetically, and will be revealed. When you've got, unfortunately, sometimes when you've got the knowledge kept in particular skulls of time immemorial, then that looks like the prize. That looks like the great prize. And unfortunately, sometimes what glitters is not always gold. Sometimes what all glitters is not always gold. So the knowledge will be raised on this planet, whether it's kept and suppressed, or the knowledge has been kept or suppressed, it still will be raised out on a metaphysical level. That's what we want to say. Yes. What is kept is not always gold. Does that make sense? What is kept is
Yes, I understand. Sure. Okay, I don't have any other questions, so is there any final comments or insights that the Lyrans would like to share with the people watching this interview?
Yes.
Or, yeah, go ahead.
There's a feeling, and this is for both of us as well and for other people, is don't be in a rush to skip over the lessons, because the lessons are gold. The lessons itself are gold, and we have to slow ourselves down. Humanity, in some ways, will be forced to slow down. we are skipping, unfortunately, many, as we are fastening and pacing and so fast, we've skipped a lot of the sort of knowledge that is in the earth, the knowledge that are in the plants, and we have to slow ourselves down. Humanity will be forced to slow down. Yes.
Mhm.
And that's where we'll embody the deeper knowledge and the lessons that are coming from the trees, coming from nature, coming from the rocks, coming from every sentient being on this planet that we unfortunately look out here instead of
Mhm.
looking at all of connecting to the animals telepathically. We have to slow down. It's like an advice. It's like slow down. That's what it feels like.
So I'm wondering if this slowing down is kind of linked to a message I received, which is not easy for me because as Aries, I feel like, I'm supposed to initiate things, but I've been told to let the universe bring to me things and not initiate so much, just kind of like put a message out and then let whoever's meant to respond to it to go ahead and do it. Almost feels like there is some kind of plan in place, and if we go too far outside of the plan, then it almost seems like I'm blocked or something saying like, don't go there or just wait or be patient or something like that. So I think I've already received this message about slowing down and, just go day by day. What is meant to be done for today, and don't worry about so much into the future, because I don't think we can predict the future that's coming anyway.
Yeah.
It's beyond what we could even imagine. So you
Yeah.
just have to kind of go day by day.
We have to go day by day. And that's exactly what when I looked at you, I got the slow down and don't skip the lessons. That's what you're here for, to learn deeply these
Mhm.
lessons. And sometimes we have to slow ourselves down. Yeah.
Well, well, I was going to ask one more question, but I'm not going to explain it. They're just going to say yes or no. So there's a special person I've started to work with, but I don't understand what's happening with this person. There's some resistance to moving forward in some areas. So is there any comment about this? Am I misinterpreting it, or I'm just going too fast? Or, I mean, it's a really powerful connection.
Yeah.
It's got to be on a soul level. It's so amazing, but there's still a resistance to
Yeah.
more open sharing. That's the best way I can phrase it.
To bring a relationship into connection and presence, both people have to be looking together into each
Right,
other's eyes. But
right,
sometimes when that resistance is there, is that one is looking outside and not completely in the present moment. And it is all about timing. It feels like timing because we all come in with our things. That's what it feels like.
right.
And to get to
Sure.
that that time there, that presence, it takes time. That's what it feels like. Timing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay, Zoe and the Lyrans, thank you so much. And Purple Love enjoyed her time. I feel it's a she. She enjoyed her time. And Katrina behind me also said it was fun. So,
Yes. And much love from Katrina and from the stars.
yeah,
And she wants to say that word agape, which is just love. It's not about relationships. Agape is this unified or universal love, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
And this is what the Lyrans bring in as well, is that feeling of universal love. And they really, really deeply care for us as a collective consciousness. And it's like a parent looking at a child and just seeing how we've oh, the evolution of our species. They're just amazed, especially over the last 5 years, how much we've awakened to our
mhm,
potentiality. And going forward into the future, they're so excited about the potentialities for technologies and the science of consciousness as well.
yeah,
Many more will be awakening to their telepathic and and gifts in the third eye. It's clairvoyance. Yes. No, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right. There you go. All right. I'll just pause it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joshua. That's a really amazing channeling. Is anything else you want to say, or for anyone to sort of get involved or click on anything?
I just would like to give out my email address like I did the last time. So if any people would like any of the free ebooks that I offer, that they can contact me right away and I can send them a direct link to it. Or if they want to know more about crystal skulls, they could come visit our website. But it's easier for me to just give the email address.
Yeah.
So that's Crystal Skull Explorers plural, @gmail.com. So just send me an email, or if they want to have conversation, I'm talking to Soul Family with Zoom all the time, different people. You know, or they might be a person that may eventually help me with, like, you know, a center in their part of the world too, because I see sister centers for the center I'm creating too. So, you know, just anybody who feels an affinity to reach out. I'm totally open. I'm not busy all the time, although I'm getting busier. I'm starting to have more public events happening. So, but I always have free time to talk with people, which seems to be what the universe wants me to do right now. So,
Excellent. Thank you. And if
yeah.
any channeling or quantum healing or ghost clearing by distance, and I'll put my details down below. Okay, thanks a lot, Joshua. All right, everyone, thanks a lot. And thank you to Zippy One Eye there. All right, see you later.